Hey guys, and welcome to my new series, Odin Sphere. This is going to be different from Makai Kingdom or Legend of Mana, which is part of the reason I picked it. Most of the reason I picked it is because it's kind of timely in that they just announced a remake for the PS4, Vita, and I think the PS3 as well, but I'm not sure about that one. Called Odin Sphere Leaf Year, which is going to completely revamp basically everything outside of the story. So it'll be a very different game, probably way better, given how I've heard they treated Muramasa Rebirth compared to the Wii version. So I'm excited and hyped, and I figured I wanted to do something with more of a narrative focus to it, something, because with Makai Kingdom, I mean, the story, it was there, but it was like Carmack said of story in video games. It's like porn, it's not contributing anything, it's just expected to be there. And that's kind of how I felt like the story in Makai Kingdom was. With Legend of Mana, there was a lot more focus on the story, but the story never really involved your protagonist. It was just kind of always... he was just always there while everybody else had their adventure. He just kind of contributed, and in some cases, he wasn't even around for the actual adventure to happen. Like in Little Cactus, it's just you trying to figure out what kind of adventure Little Cactus had. That story could have resolved the exact same way had you just sat in the house and waited. And I mean, there wasn't really an overarching narrative to Legend of Mana. It was more like there was a bunch of tiny stories that all had an overarching theme of love, and it's in its varying forms anyway, like Diddle and Capella's friendship to Pearl and Elazul, or Escad and Diana, and the whole fairy plotline. Like there was even one quest that was just you sitting there listening to Numizak and Pokio debate love and power in the context of the Mana Tree for like an hour in your backyard, in like a very civil debate about love and power, and then they both like leave. But I want to do something where the narrative is at a greater focus, but still has some interesting mechanical things going on. There isn't a whole lot mechanically that's that interesting about Odin Sphere, but man, does it look good. Alright. Hopefully the sound is okay. I've spent like 4 hours yesterday messing with settings between the emulation and OBS, and I did rip my ISO this time off my disc, so I shouldn't have crazy audio problems like Makai Kingdom did. We'll see. I'm going to choose English voice acting. There's a very good reason for this, because this dub is actually better in English, because the Japanese don't really do the whole... I don't know, what do you call it? I want to say Shakespearean, but that's like super wrong. Dramatic voices. Anyway, we play as Alice in the attic of her house, where there are a bunch of books from, I think, her grandfather. The first book she's found is Valkyrie, and her cat Socrates is up here with her. You can actually pick up the cat Socrates, and now kids, don't ever pick up a cat like this. Ever. It will kill you. You'll be dead. The cat is not going to like you picking it up by its armpits and like hoisting it around like this and flailing it around. Don't ever do that. It's like super mean, and the cat won't like it. So if you pick up Socrates and take it in a chair, you get this story archive. So you see you have 5 characters here, so there'll be 5 books that we look at. And they all take place at different points within the kind of chronology of the narrative here. And then there's the 6th book that's the finale, where everybody just kind of goes together. And what's interesting is that the first book actually starts like well over a third of the way into the narrative here. I think with 93 cutscenes, the first book starts back at 17, but there's a large skip here where we miss a lot of the narrative. So there's a lot of what's going on in the story that you don't get just by seeing one character's perspective. you have to look at all 5 characters' perspectives, and what's going on actually changes based on whose perspective you're looking at. Like, one character's actions might seem really good and noble for Gwendolyn, our first character here, and then you might switch over to another character and suddenly that character is one of the villains. We'll read Valkyrie, the first book. The game is also, like, steeped in Norse mythology. I think if you look on Wikipedia, they say something about how it's based on Wagner's opera, The Ring of Nibel. I can't remember the name, and if I did, I'd mispronounce it anyway. It's a famous opera. I think it's what Flight of the Valkyries is from, is Richard Wagner's opera. So, at the very least, you probably all heard Flight of the Valkyries. I don't really think it is. I mean, I haven't really seen a performance of Wagner's opera. I just read Wikipedia synopsis of it. The only similarities I can see is that they're based on a ring, and they both contain a character named Odin. In addition, the Odin Sphere doesn't draw exclusively from Norse mythology. It does also draw from, like, British mythology, but not nearly as much. I will be talking about cutscenes a little bit, if only because I'll probably be talking about what's going on in them, and because they're voiced, I will need to read them. But I'll try and let the characters, like, talk over me. They are subtitled, so you can see and hopefully hear them.
Quiet now.
If the audio isn't good in this part, I promise it'll be better for the next one.
Of battle seems so far away.
But here's the Gwendolyn that we play as. We are the Blue Valkyrie. Our sister Griselda has just fallen in battle.
No, don't give up. Gwendolyn, please.
And she gives us her spear.
I have no use for it now.
I'll probably bring up a bunch of little points about Norse mythology, show what VanillaWare is drawing on during the game.
The king.
For instance, first of all,
the
spear that Gwendolyn uses is likely a reference to Gungnir, the spear that Odin uses in Norse mythology. I'll bring that up again when we get to Odin.
Sister. Please, do not cry.
For now, we have Griselda dying in our arms and saying everything's gonna be okay, she's gonna go to Valhalla. This is playing off of Valkyries in Norse mythology. They are Odin's warrior maidens. They're kind of like, they just scope out big wars and they'll pluck people who die and carry them up to Valhalla if they died a noble warrior's death. So they just kind of grab fallen heroes and take them up to Valhalla. So the idea that she is glad that she has died in battle makes a lot of sense for Griselda. A lot of where Gwendolyn's conflict in her narrative is going to come from is from the idea that she doesn't entirely accept this belief.
We have lost this battle.
That she either doesn't think that it's fair that Griselda died, or that she thinks she needs to emulate it in some way in order to be able to accept it. And this, oh my god, this. Just this dwarf. We introduced to another character, and then all of a sudden the camera pans to a dwarf who just gives us a bit of exposition on who that character is, using a bunch of terms we know nothing about. Only for Gwendolyn to come in and fight him, and not do a very good job, and instantly say, "Oh, I lost. Kill me."
How long do you intend to keep me pinned
And
down?
so we seem to get the impression here that Gwendolyn wants to die, and she
Go on, run away. This
is just she didn't really try to fight Oswald here. That she just wanted to die like her sister, because
I'm glad to see you're safe.
even though the dwarf comes up and says, "Oh, hey, you're still alive," she says, "I can't go back home having lost
Please wait.
this war alive."
What good are troops that have lost their leader?
And unfortunately for that dwarf, I mean, they lost their leader back when Griselda died. Gwendolyn's not much of a leader. So we enter the tutorial, and we learn how to play Odin Sphere. At least, how to play Gwendolyn. So you move with left and right. You'll see in the bottom right there is a giant ring with a dot on it and an image in the center. So the entire game takes place kind of on a two-dimensional circle with a camera at the center that just pans so that your character is always roughly in the center of the screen. In the top right, you can, and you kind of, sorry, I skipped a bit. You navigate from circles to circles via these little like dots here. There'll be little exits once you've cleared a map. Top right, we have a kind of map of a chunk of the circle with a square representing our screen. One thing we have noticed about the remake is that the camera is panned out much farther from your character, which is really nice because in the PS2 version that I'm playing, you can really only see your character and what's right beside you, which kind of makes combat a pain. You attack with the square button, boom. To do a tutorial, you can hit it for up to 4 hits in your combo. And then jump with X, double jump in the air, and if you hold X, Gwendolyn glides because she has Valkyrie wings from her waist. Which I'm not sure if they're like attached to her body or if they come off and they're part of the uniform. It's not entirely clear. And then if we glide, we can hit down and square and do a glide attack. Also, we can hold square and guard against enemies. And then let's say enemy troops arrive. You can see in the top right that now we have a green Mantis Warrior from the enemy kingdom. Up there in the top left we have, and I'll go over all the things from top left over, is our Cypher level, which is our attack level, our HP level, which is our health level. That's really the only 2 stats in the game. And underneath the blue, with the Cypher level, is the Phozon level, I guess you could call it. Which you need to absorb to... Oh, and we got a crit there. You absorb with R1. Phozons are kind of like the spirits of people that die. You absorb them into your weapon, and you'll slowly increase the level of your weapon, and if you get enough, you see that pistol turns into a 1, and now we can use skills. Like second one. That will just tear up all our enemies. We have the POW bar, which is kind of tutorialized in that if you use attacks, the POW bar depletes, and if it empties, you'll be stunned for a bit. There should be an item around here somewhere. There it is. And we have the HP bar. That's everything we need to know. What are Phozons? Forms of energy used as a source of magic by sorcerers, as well as elemental entities like fairies. Don't forget that their beautiful shine is that of a creature's life. Phozons only appear when a living creature passes away. So it's soul magic. And in a way it kind of fits the Valkyrie theme in that she collects the souls of people who died in battle. That kind of falls apart when the other 4 characters do the same thing and are not Valkyries, but you gloss over it by then. Weapons crafted with rare magical crystals are called ciphers. Unlike normal weapons, these weapons have the ability to grow and become more powerful. So that's what we have here, is a cipher. A special magical weapon that absorbs the souls of the dead to grow stronger. And you'll see the blue 2 now. Our weapon has already reached level 2, so we already do more damage. This is a mulberry. It's a form of food that we can eat. We press circle to pull up our ring. You can see we have 2 bags here. One of them has a mulberry in it, and if we press X, we eat it. And then we heal. But our health was full. However, you did see we went up to 99 max HP, and that's because the mulberry gave us enough HP experience to turn the yellow 1 into a 2, so our HP leveled up, and now we have level 2 HP. The essence of food. Eating food heals injuries and helps strengthen the body, which increases our HP level. Food becomes your own flesh and blood, replenishes vital energy. Those who eat healthy food, it will strengthen their bodies. Eating carefully prepared food enhances growth. Uncooked food takes more time to consume and digest. And here we have mulberry seed. When planted, seeds grow by absorbing phozons. When fruit appears, strike it to pick it. So we press circle. We can plant a seed in the ground. Even though this is desert, it will grow. We just need to get it some souls. Apparently, in the world of Odin Sphere, fruit grows by absorbing the souls of the dead. So we'll sit over here, and here's where we get the thumbnail. All stages are circular and can be traversed in either direction. When the stage has been cleared, all exits appear as yellow dots on the circular map. So see here that now the mulberries have grown. I'm not sure whether or not those are ripe yet. I think they are. So I'm going to pick them up. And I'm going to just ignore this guy for a second here. Alright, and then after you finish the stage, you get a score based on how quickly you did it, how little damage you took, and how many points you had carried over from the last time. In this case, you have to get an S rank, and then a chest will drop containing items, often money, sometimes food, and we get some text about how treasure works. In battle, there's one life so in danger. Many soldiers hide their valuables before fighting. Defeat your enemies quickly before they hide their treasure. So that's telling us that you get a higher score for doing it faster. This is more about ciphers. By absorbing phozons, the weapon's attack power is enhanced. Also said that absorbed phozons can be used to cast various magic spells. Earning a high score grants you better rewards and items at the end of the stage. That just makes sense if you've ever played a video game before. And here we have the exit, which is the yellow dot. Boom. So move on to the Act 3 of the Prelude. Where Gwendolyn's returned home, and here we have Odin, the biggest motherfucker in the land.
I have an announcement.
Look at him, he's so goddamn cool.
Regarding the invasion, our troops have been lost. The foes had more reinforcements than we had anticipated.
She's come back to tell her father, yay, we lost the war.
We were forced to enter a battle of attrition. The Valkyries suffered many casualties, including Griselda, our commander.
And then he tells her that Griselda's dead. Says, bitch, I already know.
Griselda fought bravely for you to the very end. She entrusted me with a spear in her final moments.
She was the most gallant and noble of all my warriors. That spear is a special weapon known as a cipher. It collects spirits that haunt battlefields and uses their power to smite enemies. Henceforth, you shall wield the spear as you please. We shall launch another assault on the enemy.
So he gives Gwendolyn the spear and then says, alright, we're gonna go back out there, and this time I'm gonna fuck everything up because I'm motherfucking Odin.
Is that all you have to say about Griselda?
She gets a little upset that he's not mourning her.
Words will not bring your sister back.
And he's very practical about it. She's not coming back if she's dead. What Gwendolyn neglects to realize is Odin already knew Griselda died before Gwendolyn got here. He probably spent a while mourning. He's probably done mourning. He wants to move on and get his, like, revenge war over with. So we're going to save the game here. Boom. And I think that'll do it for the first episode. Maybe. Maybe I'll let a cutscene go. Like there isn't one. Alright. So I'm going to end the episode here, and I'll see you guys next time. If you liked the video, make sure you press the like button. It helps a whole lot, especially for newer series such as these. And if you want to see more of the series, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.